welcome back to the I Can't Have Nice Things YouTube channel. And today we're going to take some little bits of junkyard stuff and make a small winch. And then we're going to go pick up a tractor. And we're actually going to pull the tractor off the trailer with the winch. So we get to test that and see if we can get this tractor running today. All right, here we go. This is the materials we have. Now this wire set came from a Warren winch years and years and years ago. I'm not even 100% sure what all goes to what, but you know, in, out, that's pretty self-explanatory. In your switch box and some wires and grommets to go with it. So we have all this stuff here, a lot of random stuff, and an old busted clevis. We have this aluminum plate. This aluminum plate is a 1/4 inch thick, and it's pretty stout. I'd like to make it out of steel, but I don't have a steel plate on hand right now, and I kind of want to see if this is going to work at all. So I realize this is not the best thing. We probably should use steel, but Warren does make a kit similar to what I'm going to try to put together here, where it's a plate with a chain that'll run to that corner tie down and a chain to run to that corner tie down. And that's what I'm trying to achieve. I want to mount this winch to a section of this plate with some chains running off and be able to pull riding mowers up and down on my trailer. So I'm not really worried about the strength of this aluminum. I'm just pulling on riding mowers. This won't be used for anything else. Now this winch is, I don't know if this is an off-name brand or what. I assume it's cheap. This is another junkyard find. This was in a scrap pile. The neutral knob here is cracked. It still works. The lock and unlock, it still works. I did pull that cable out once before when I first got it to see if it even worked, and I stuck a set of wires on it to see if it actually went in and out, and it did. So you can see these posts are a little bit tweaked. A little tweaked there, a little tweaked there. I guess this thing probably got chucked off of a truck. You'd be amazed at what you can find at, you know, a scrap yard. People will throw anything out. And this, you know, this could come in really handy for what we're going to use it for. And the fact that it was free, that's pretty awesome. So random bits of wire, some plate and a hook and some other stuff, and hopefully I can make ourselves a little winch plate that will go up in here. I'm missing the chains that will go to the corners, but hopefully we can make one that'll go up in here and will help us out later. Alright, so this is where we're at. We've got our winch mounted to this plate. I'm missing one bolt back there in that corner right now, but all I did was drill holes and throw a couple of those fasteners in there that I went and picked up. I didn't have any eye bolts, and I have no chain right now, so this is more or less just temporary. These are just tow hooks off of an old truck I had sitting in the corner, and what I'm going to do is use a couple of ratchet straps. Run a ratchet strap from this hook over to the tie down and a tie down over there, and you know, it'll serve its purpose for now. I pulled the cable out and threw our hook on there, the old rusty busted up hook that was sitting on the ground. So yeah, as of now, you know, this is kind of the setup I have. I did pick up this wiring, and I threaded on all of these cables, and I hooked up our switch. There's a couple missing wires that weren't with the set, and I ran a couple jumpers wires around. I have a wiring diagram for this thing, and I hooked it up to a battery real quick, and hit the in-out button to see if I was getting power anywhere. I was getting power nowhere. There was no power being sent to anything. And when you shake this thing around, it makes this loud, you know, rattling sound, which, you know, could have been what, you know, what it's supposed to do. But I got up here and I started messing with these studs, and that stud there and the stud on the other side was what was making that rattling noise. Those are not supposed to be loose. If you look down, I pulled that off. If you look down inside there, the housing where those studs have gone in is cracked. It's cracked all the way around it, and it's actually broken the plastic out. So this switch is pretty much trashed. Now, you know, this was sitting in the bed of a truck for, you know, probably 6 months out of a junk vehicle. So I'm not worried about that. I'm going to keep the wiring. I'm going to keep this toggle switch here, this two-way switch. I mean, that's pretty handy stuff to have, and all the wiring's pretty nice too. But as for now, what you can do with these, you know, put your battery back here, have positive, negative, and then it'll go in, or you can turn it around. Put your negative on your positive, positive on your negative, and it'll spin the winch back the other direction. It's not going to hurt it. That's essentially what that switch does anyway. I realize that's the most hillbilly way of rigging this up, but I'm not paying for another switch, and I'm not going to go out and start rigging anything together just yet before I figure out if this thing's going to be powerful enough to hook up and start pulling tractors around with it, or go-karts or four-wheelers or whatever we need. All right, it's been about a week, and as is with most things that I build, I haven't been able to get on it right away. So what has come up is I found a tractor. A buddy of mine found a tractor and sent it to me. It's way too big to use the winch on, unfortunately. I kind of wanted to try it out in this video and show you guys if it worked or not. It's not going to happen. This tractor probably weighs 3,000 pounds. So what we're going to do is take a trip real quick and go see if we can get this tractor. All right, we picked it up. Got the whole family with me. Yep. We picked it up. It needs a lot of work, and it's going to be interesting. I didn't hear it run. I didn't see it move. It got shoved onto the trailer by another tractor, but it's towing good. And once we get it home, we're going to see if we can get this thing to run. Fingers crossed it's not blown up. So we'll see when I get home. All right, here it is. Got it home. So this was my purchase. This came with it. This is a Land Pride 5-foot gravel driveway grader blade thing, whatever you call those. But this is the tractor. It's a 92 Massey Ferguson 1140. This is a 30 horsepower. I think that's an Isuzu diesel. It is in rough shape. As you can see, I'd say 92. So all 28 years of this thing, it's been sitting outside. Tire flat, tube pulled out. It's just the rim is dented in a couple of spots. Looking closer at the wheels, you can tell this thing had calcium in it, and you can literally see where it is just leaking out around this. It just chewed the wheel all over the place, all the way around. That's a shame. Yeah, that's a shame. But this one isn't deflated. Look at it the other side. This tire's holding air, but full of dry rot cracks, so, you know, that's okay. But this thing right here, this is by far the worst. This tire is chewed up, but right there, I think you can see that pretty clear, completely blown through. I don't even know where to begin to fix that. I don't even know if I would try to weld a patch. And the right thing to do would be out and go and buy a new set of wheels for this. I think they're 24, yeah, 24 by 10. All right, but I do have the seat's in the bed. Everything seemed to be there. The PTO spins nice and free, has no play in it. But just looking at the maintenance sides, obviously that's an original fuel filter. That's pretty old. Oh God. Oh God. Just jump up here. Got your shifter nice and loose. Nice and loose. Maybe a mouse nest or two in there. Dashboard says it has 400 hours. That's actually pretty low. 471 hours, that's low. It did have, so I did check the fluids. It did have oil in it. The oil was pretty good, but the antifreeze is very low. And as you can see, right in here, there's a giant rat's nest. Right off the bat, the first thing you'll notice about this tractor is it has no grill, no headlights, no anything. And this battery looks to be about 100 years old. So, yeah, we do have a pipe too. We have a stack, but it fell off. So, we're gonna have probably a pretty hard time unloading this thing to get it off the trailer with that back tire flat and no way to inflate it, and then this tire right here being flat. I think we're gonna have a pretty hard time getting this off the trailer, but we will get this thing unloaded today, and we will try to see if we can get this motor to fire up. I want to check all the fluids and at least get this motor to fire. We'll do fuel filters, make sure it's getting fuel. I'll check the drain on the fuel tank back here, and you know, if we can get this thing to fire and idle at all, you know, it was worth it. I've got $400 into this with the scraper blade, so I think that's a great deal. So let me see if we can start working to get this thing off, and see, you know, hopefully this doesn't turn out to be a major pain in the butt. All right, let's see how much power this thing actually has. Wrong way. I just don't have anything to attach it to in here. All right, well, that winch on the front of the four-wheeler actually did help quite a bit, but in the end, we used the truck and a block of wood to shove it the rest of the way in. This thing will be a whole lot easier once we get some new wheels and tires on it, which we're not 100% sure if we're doing that yet or not. We don't even know if this thing runs. So I think the next step is checking fluids, checking, you know, air filter, make sure it's not full of rat's nests. But I do know we have to get this big rat's nest out down here, and there's also a big one back here. Vacuum, use my air compressor, blow all the stuff off, check fluids, and then let's see if this thing will crank over. Oh, it broke the terminal. All right, I was able to suck with the shop vac over here, get all that garbage out, and then all the stuff out down in here that was tucked in here. Take this air box off here. See if there's any animals living in here. Got one mud dauber nest back there, but other than that, she's dirty. It's not too bad at all. Not bad enough where we can't run it. Yep, I'm good with that. Put that back on there. I did spray quite a bit of this stuff down with WD-40 before we went to lunch. There is some WD-40 on the ground. I got up underneath here and soaked some of this stuff down. I know all of it's going to be seized up. And I noticed right after we brought it in here, right here, that's fuel. That's diesel fuel. This is the main feed from the tank that goes up to our fuel water separator. So we do have a leak in our fuel line. But I think what we need to do is hook a battery up and see if this thing will even crank over. It's gonna be interesting to see if it'll even fire. I did check the oil down here, and we do have oil. So let's throw a battery in it, hit the key, and see if we have any fire at all on this thing. All right, we got our battery rigged up a different way. The terminals are just kind of clamped on there. Let's see what happens. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's give it a little throttle. All right, so took me a second, but obviously there's your fuel shut off. It's kind of crusty. This whole thing is kind of crusty. It's really, really rusted up. So I thought where the shut off was supposed to be, it was already there, but it just took a little bit more pull. But it seems to be running fine. I don't want to run it much longer. I need to check coolant, which I know is very, very low. And I need to check oil. And I'm not sure on this if I have to have hydraulic fluid in the rear end and all that to run this. I don't know if it's spinning a pump. I'm not super sure on this. I'm trying not to sound completely stupid, but I'm not really sure. I think I need to check some more fluids, top off the radiator. I'm gonna see if it'll start back up again. guys. Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot more I can say than I'm really happy with how it's running. I drained off the fuel water separator. It had a little bit of a fuel knock when it first started up. I would say it maybe had some water in the fuel filter or fuel water separator. So I drained all that off, topped off the coolant, and it stayed at operating temperature the whole time. It never rose above where it should be. I've had it running in here now for about probably 15 or 20 minutes just to get it up to operating temperature. Yeah, the only thing I noticed is when you put it full throttle, it has a bit of a cutoff, maybe a miss, and white smokes a little bit. And that very well could be because of this crack in the fuel line, and it's drawing air into your fuel line, into your little, I don't even know what you call it, fuel pump, clickety-clack fuel pump there. So it could be getting air, small bubbles, and then when it revs up, it starts drawing in more. All right, guys, so I'm happy. This thing is running good. Like I said, we didn't know if this thing was going to be blown up or stuck or what. There could have been a million and one things wrong with it, but it's running, and that's a good start. I guess wheels and tires next. Man, that's going to be expensive. Just from the ones that I found on like a 5-minute search is going to cost me like $1,200 for some wheels and tires. But, you know, it's going to need them. And I'm going to get another video out as quick as I can on this one, mainly because I need it out of the garage. But thanks for watching.